Hi everyone, Gigabeef here and welcome back to my Tarkov beginner series. In the next couple of videos we're going to be talking about maps and in particular the very first minute of the raid. Today we'll be focusing on customs, but I'll be going through all of the main maps in the upcoming episodes. So due to the way that spawns work, Tarkov raids are somewhat like the openings of a chess match. There's a limited number of moves available to you, and you know that there is only so much your opponent can do as well. Specifically, I'm referring to the fixed spawn point system, which gives a massive advantage to experienced players in an area that as a newcomer you don't even necessarily realise is an advantage. At the start of a raid, your opponents have a good idea of where you are and are likely coming for you. This information gets fuzzier as the match progresses, so this particular point of advantage starts to get smaller if you can stay alive for the first 5 minutes. I remember first starting out all too well, with the wiki map up on the second screen trying to match what I was seeing around me to the spawn point area. Without a compass, which is going to be added soon, basic navigation on the maps is incredibly annoying as a new player. I've also seen friends trying to learn the game and get literally killed in the spawn as they try to figure out where they are. Before we even start taking a look at the spawns themselves, I'd say rule number 1 is to get out of there and find somewhere to go temporarily that isn't the spawn while you work out where you are. I can't overstate enough how dangerous the starting points can be. Obviously some are worse than others, but again, that comes with experience to know. Here's our classic map of customs, or at least the one that I use from the wiki. In short, we're going to look at each of these spawn points in turn to show A, how quickly to work out where you are, B, what the other spawns are nearby, and C, the points of interest in the area. Hopefully by the time that we're finished, it'll be a bit easier to figure out how to line up the map to your location, which is half the battle when it comes to navigation. Let's jump straight into it with the first couple of spawns. Most of these I grabbed naturally in offline mode, but a couple like this first one were quite stubborn and I just had to go there myself. When you start here we have one of the red fuel trucks in the distance, a small car in the foreground, a wall on the left and some foliage on the right. If we move to explore a touch more, we could see the corner of a wall with distinctive lettering and the road past the red tanker extends a long way. If we peek right a little bit, we could see the top of Big Red as it is known, the landmark building in the west side of Customs. Altogether, this tells us that we must be in the southwesterly side of the map. Customs spawns are broadly split into east and west, so with a west side spawn it is the other west side PMCs that you need to worry about. Typically you won't get someone in directly the next spawn along, however at this one, players could be at any of the other 3 corners of the Big Red compound. The main one to watch out for is down the road on the right, as this becomes quite a corridor and you can get picked off straight away by players spawning in by the southern edge of the railroad. The next one we're going to look at is the one that I just mentioned. When we appear we can see a train track up on the small hill and you can actually see Big Red in the background, so for the experienced players there's only one place that this can really be. If we swing around a bit, the river is on the right hand side and there is no bridge in sight, which tells us we're at the south edge of the map. This pinpoints us at the other end of the road near Trailer Park. Underneath the train carriage you can see straight down the road towards the southwest spawn that we were just at. This spawn has a much better tactical position over the road south of Big Red, as you can see. Let's just move to the next spawn quickly before we go into everything. This one is very close to the last one, so is a secondary spawn point to the first. It is very unlikely if not impossible that someone will be down at the previous one if you start here. A wall on the left and the train on the right, this is a big giveaway for another southern westerly spawn, even without any other clues, especially given how tight this corridor is. One thing that I would bring your attention to now that we've reached a clip with a proper spawn in, the extractions will always give you a massive clue as to where you are. You'll always be given an extract on the opposite side of the map, and this logic works pretty much for all of the original maps. Here you can see we've been given ZB1011, an old gas station, which are always given for western spawn points. Main points of interest from these spawns here is naturally Big Red itself, which is a point for some quests, potential first 5-minute PvP action, and later on for farming scabs, although they won't appear right away. On the east side there is the land bridge that crosses over towards the construction area on the southern central side, or you could push up towards the main car bridge in the north, which heads more towards the dorms area. Next spawn, containers as far as the eye can see and a ZB1011 exfil. This puts us squarely in the storage area, but as for the direction that's a little trickier. The end blocked off with the storage container is the northwest side, and if we wander through we can see both the long north-south road and the east road towards the train tracks on the north side. This spawn is really only near to Big Red and the main bridge crossing, and we have to be worried about the other corner spawns as well for PMC fights. I just want to take a quick moment to thank all of you guys watching. I hate to ask, but if you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe as it means a huge amount for a new channel like mine to get noticed. To those who have already done so, I'm humbled and eternally grateful. Anyway, let's get back to it. Next up we have a little glimpse of the bridge at the back, along with a small hut on the horizon, an incline moving up towards the train with a gate on the right. There's two distinctive rocks here also which marks where we are, which is the final northernmost spawn on the west side. If you continue up to the train, you can look back and see Big Red. This spawn is closest to the car bridge, so is also closest to dorms. If you're trying to get there for a quest, this is the spawn to do it from if you're trying to speedrun it. If you move into the Big Red compound from any of these corners, expect to run into other PMCs. People can get to the main building a little faster than you from this spawn point, and can lay an ambush inside the warehouse very easily, so take care. One Easter egg that I really like about this side of the map is I've always liked how the developers have thought about linking everything together. From the trailer park, if you look to the southwest over the wall, you can actually see Idea in interchange from customs. To me, it fleshes out the world and makes it feel a bit more real than your average game. Next we're going to start moving around the other sections of the map. This spawn point we start up on high ground with a sparse forest in front and a rock fence combo on the right that is distinctive. Our exits are crossroads and trailer park now, telling us that we have a more easterly spawn. Taking a little look to our right, we see the small pylon and fence edge, and to the left we get a clear view across the train tracks and carriage towards the main hill and large electricity pylon. This spawn point is the best eastern spawn for dorms, as it's very close. I personally wouldn't hang around here too long, as you're fairly open up on top and other groups will likely be sweeping around or across the map, unless you hold up in the foliage on the left and are patient for the first few minutes as other PMCs reposition. You're also well positioned for gas station, with multiple angles open for you to approach, so this is a great spawn for getting where you want to be before other people and grabbing a bit of initiative. Moving to the next point, we can immediately see power lines at the back with a train carriage underneath. Next to us, the path through the forest indicates that we're at the northernmost edge, and navigating around a little bit shows us the pylon that we just spawned next to the last time. Interestingly, from here the main pylon on the hill is right next to us but not visible due to the trees. This spawn is similar to the previous one, with not quite as good a position to get to dorms, but just as good for gas station. If you decide to move eastwards around the edge, you have to be even more careful about other groups coming your way, as the natural safe path will be towards you. This is primarily due to how the wall through customs functions as an effective block. The spawn points in the southeast only have a few ways to get out of the bottom area, one of which being the factory exit key door, but other than this there are only a couple of points along the wall that allow you to leave. If you spawn in by these two big rocks, it's definitely the central spawn on the far east side. The layers of rock and the very steep impassable hill, along with the concrete compound at the end of the road, are unique on the map. Again, we have trailer park and crossroads exfills as is natural for an easterly spawn. This is one of my favourite starter spawns, as it allows you to move into the bottom of the map for quests if necessary, or to follow the usual traffic route around the map westwards, but a little delayed, so typically you miss out on the full geared PMCs going hard early game. You do need to watch out for people doubling back from the previous areas that we've looked at, as well as sprinters from the compound south. I've caught people off guard here by the sheer speed at which you can get there from some of the southerly points. If you head straight over the road, you can also get a good vantage point on the gas station from up on the kind of hill cliff area, if that's what you're into. The next couple of spawns are all in the southeast compound. These are easy to identify by the large number of warehouses and buildings around in the area. This first one is very big and has a kind of scaffolding structure in the middle with an open-ended hangar-like door on the far side that we can't see from here. Taking a stroll outside, we can actually see the map factory over the wall, which is the bottom right-hand corner of the customs map. ZB1011 exfil is also just on the other side of this building here. Another spawn, another warehouse. This one is in a little ditch, which marks it as the one near Old Gas Station. From here you can see on the right the one-way ramp, which only allows people to access this area from the other side. As such, you can't go and push people moving down there, but they can certainly come over to fight you, so be aware. One final spawn I want to touch on is this warehouse with a van. The van is used in one of the quests, so most players have to go here specifically at some point. This is the closest spawn to the gate that leads between the two sections of the compound, and if you need to be on the other side, it is worth reversing immediately before anyone else gets there. If you spawn in this area, that gate can be a huge pinch point, as without the factory exit key for the route through to gas station, which is a bit spicy in and of itself, given the one-way ramp doesn't help you from this side, you are forced to use this gate. All spawns in this compound are kind of trapped in due to the bottlenecks of the wall, and you need to have a plan on how you expect to get out of here if this is your starting point. Personally, I find that the safest route is to move to the far right and leave north through the final opening by Scav checkpoint. Typically this is far enough from the action to not get caught as collateral damage, and gives you a nice vantage point for the northern area as you come over the hill once leaving the compound. I hope this video has given you more comfort with the spawns, and that this helps to minimise deaths inside 1 minute that tend to happen when experienced players know all the points and cub rushing. Before we go, I just have one closing thought on timing that I alluded to at the beginning. The information on spawn points is crystal clear at the start, but gets fuzzier as the raid progresses, but just try to keep in mind where people might be at certain times. The likelihood of PMCs being in different areas changes with the raid timer, and if you can start predicting the paths that people might take and when, this should help you firstly be less surprised when you run into someone, but also become a better player overall as you get better at predicting the other player movements. And with that said, thanks everyone for watching, have fun and good luck in your raids. We'll see you next time.